Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink is actually a sort of sentimental favorite of mine. It's one of the first inks that I ever bought that, wasn't just given to me, because I used to get given cartridges a lot, but yeah, it's a Private Reserve ink, Electric DC Blue. As you can see, I have it in many forms. This is the 66 milliliter bottle, and I've actually used about this much, and I think I finished off a 50 milliliter bottle a while ago, like a couple years ago. But have it in the long cartridges and in the short cartridges. And most of the tests were done in this AG Spalding Brothers maple with a medium nib. It's slightly fine for a medium nib, but yeah. Check out the chromatography. As you can see, there's some potential for water resistance, but really not a lot. It's a very vibrant blue. It has a lighter blue, then a medium blue, and then there is sheen in this chromatography. I'm going to try and get it on camera. That dark band up at the top, you can see some of this red metallic sheen that is all throughout this ink, and careful. Yeah, it's you're gonna see it on the bottle, and you're gonna see it in the feet of your pens. It's one of the problems with this ink, but I think it's worth it, but I'm willing to diligently clean my pens. So, starting from the top down in density, Clairefontaine 90 grams per square meter. There's sheen, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to get on camera, but it's all through the letters. Might be able to see it in the right light. But yeah, I actually used two pens in this. For the AG Spalding Brothers, it took 18 seconds to dry, but in the stubbed Hero 616 that I use, it took 15, but there's also less sheen in this. I don't know what that was about. I must have dropped some water on it, but yeah, and not terribly water resistant. It did dye the page a bit, but it's a beautifully bright, vibrant blue. I really hope I can get some of the sheen on camera because it is everywhere. It is all through the letters. It's a gorgeous red metallic sheen. Next is Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter, where I bet I can get some of the sheen here. Hopefully, because again, it's everywhere. It's on just about every letter. Why are you failing me now, camera? But yeah, 14 seconds to dry. Fairly well behaved. Oh, it's got to be in here. Come on. Oh, I give up. Anyways, there's no bleed feather spread. Not the best water test. If you're very sensitive, show through might be a bit of an issue, but now, here's Tomoe River Paper, where, I mean, depending on how you hold it, it just looks red. Like, yeah, look at how much that sheens. Like, it almost just turns red. It is everywhere. And it is so bright and so rich, but again, that's because of heavy saturation, and that's why it takes 25 seconds to dry, even in a medium nib. I said, crazy levels of gold sheen. The flow is still very consistent with this ink. It's not saturated to the point where it won't go through the pen. And I said there's some potential for smearing after it's dry, but you don't actually see much of that on here. But I know from past experience it's something to keep an eye on. Water test is not great. It's pretty much all gone. Now this is the original copier paper that I miss so much. But it's a beautiful blue, and you've got great shading, even on the copier paper. Yeah, dries fairly quickly. You still get some sheen, like in the dots and at the edges of the wettest parts, but yeah, water test, that's gone. But it's a beautiful blue, and it's well behaved. God, I miss this paper. Next is Mead, where it took 8 seconds to dry, and I cannot tell you why. and it feathered like crazy. It's ugly, it's nasty. I feel like the ink got kind of darker, and because it got dark, the feathers are dark and very noticeable. They're distracting. Water test is pretty ugly. Yeah, do not recommend this combination. And lastly is Moleskine Notebook Paper, where it just didn't look good. The feathering was pretty bad. It got sort of furry looking. So it was almost like it couldn't decide whether it wanted to feather or spread. And it became kind of a less interesting blue. It lost most of its shading. The water test is pretty bad. And for a fairly fine side of medium nib, that's a lot of bleed. And I made sure that I got the laid side of the paper this time. So, I mean, this is best case scenario. So, whatever's in this ink just does not play well with Moleskine paper. So, there you go. Private Reserve's Electric DC Blue. It's an old favorite of mine. It's always in my collection. I use it plenty, but yeah, you gotta be ready to put in a little more effort for cleaning your pen, but then you get sheen like crazy on some papers. And it can look like this on Rhodia sometimes. It's just, here it's pretty extreme. You still get lots of sheen on the nicer papers. This is just the only time I was able to get it on camera, but for your consideration from the Triple N Network. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.